This episode is sponsored by Cyberlytica, combating fraud, account takeover, and information warfare. Get a free dark web password scan now from Cyberlytica. Use promo code HACKEDAGAIN. My guest today is security awareness advocate at KnowBe4 and veteran information security professional with over 20 years of experience in the medical, aerospace, manufacturing, and defense fields. Eric Krohn is the former security manager for the U.S. Army's 2nd Regional Cyber Center, Western Hemisphere, and holds numerous certifications. Eric has worked with information security professionals around the world to provide the tools, training, and educational opportunities to succeed in information security. Eric, welcome to the show. So we're curious, what keeps you up at night?
Oh, what keeps me up at night is anything ending in ishing. That means fishing, vishing, smishing, all of these things. We've seen throughout the years, throughout my career, I've seen people fall for stuff over and over again. And I'm talking personally, I'm talking about organizations getting hit by stuff. All of the social engineering stuff that's going on these days is something that a lot of people underestimate how good these folks are. So anything to do with phishing, they think of like the Nigerian prince scam, which is totally not what's happening these days, right? No. The stuff that's happening these days is organized crime. It's nation state stuff. It's really, really good folks out there doing some really, really compelling stuff. And things like our current pandemic really helps them out, gives them a nice little shot in the arm for the emotions and gets them the kind of things that they need to continue their attacks. And so that's absolutely probably the biggest thing that keeps me up at night is all the social engineering stuff like that.
Yeah, it's great points. And really, I like your point that you make about with the pandemic that we're under, the fact that many people are still working remotely, the home office. And if you think about it, how are cyber criminals really taking that to their advantage, using that against all of us with these various phishing schemes? I think it's a really a serious fear that we all have to be concerned about as business owners.
Yeah, a lot of organizations took on a lot of technical debt when this thing happened, right? So it was, okay, everybody's got to go home. We got to work from home. We got to keep the doors open. So what do? We roll out RDP. We fire up RDP and let people remote in, or we, throw together some sort of a remote access thing because, we got to keep the doors open. And that's absolutely understandable. But in doing so, we ended up leaving so much wide open. And now we have to go back and secure those things because it was done quickly. So we see a lot of that out there. The other thing is, with respect to this and how the bad guys are using it, if you think about social engineering attacks, like any of these ishing ones, they're largely an emotional attack. And a lot of people don't think about it that way. But the idea is they use your emotions to get you into where you don't necessarily think clearly and critically about, hey, this doesn't make any sense, right? Which is why you look back at something and you go, wow, these people didn't see all these signs. Well, no, because they're all stressed out. Well, you take something like the pandemic where there's been a shortage of information, if you will, in a lot of cases, where there's been a lot of fear. I mean, we couldn't get toilet paper for a while, right? And so all of these things happen. They get people all stressed out already. And then you throw something in there at them like, hey, this is a new thing. You need to read this now. And they go click on that and they open the document and their day just got much worse.
Yeah, so true. Now, recently, KnowBe4 heard some wonderful news. You guys went public. Congrats on that. Certainly, you've done some amazing things. Now, I want to just spend a minute and tell us a little bit more about The Inside Man. It's now available on Amazon Prime. I know last year we were at RSA and we got to chat a little bit about it and I got to sit back and have some popcorn and watch one of the episodes there. Tell us about the impact and a little bit more, maybe behind the scenes, how people are responding to the series and some of your thoughts.
Yeah, I love The Inside Man, and I love it because it's such a different way to approach training. And for those that don't know what it is, it's a season episode breakdown that is basically a story of a guy who's hired to go into an organization and gather a bunch of information. So basically, he's hired as an insider threat, but he gets in there and he starts liking the people he's working for, and he starts doing this, and he ends up turning the tables and working for the organization in security. Okay, so he turns over a new leaf. He does all this kind of stuff, and what's cool about it is because it focuses more on the story than it does really training. It doesn't feel like training, but they'll demonstrate things. And then at the end of the episode, they go back and they say something like, hey, maybe you should be careful who you hand your badges to, or be careful what you put out on social media, because this can be used to tie these things together. And so there's lessons involved, but it's really fun to watch. And one of the craziest things that I've never seen this before with training, is we've had people go, our company, these people are coming to us because we release them every month, and they're like, when are you going to release the next one? And we've seen watch parties. We've seen season finale parties where the company's brought in popcorn and stuff, and employees actually want to watch it, which is why the fact that it's now on Amazon Prime just blows my mind. I mean, when have you ever thought about security awareness training making Amazon Prime, right?
That's awesome. That's great. And it is enjoyable. I encourage people, if you have not had a chance to see The Inside Man, check it out on Amazon Prime. It will be fun. It will be entertaining. But at the same time, to your point, Eric, you do learn things. It raises awareness and it helps educate people so they can stay safer in this crazy world of cyber crime. So, yeah, really appreciate you sharing some of that background with us. Also, I was checking out, you have a really interesting podcast, a video podcast. It's the Jarek Show, and it's yourself, and it's Javad Malik. I believe, if I'm pronouncing it right. Tell us a little bit more about that. I noticed it had some great interaction between yourself and Javad. So maybe help our viewers appreciate that, and maybe where they can find out more about it too.
Awesome. Yeah. Javad is, I don't know. We just like clicked, and we've become very good friends. I've known him for a number of years. Last year at RSA, when it was actually in person, we kicked off something where we were doing a nightly recap, and we found that we had so much fun with it, and we worked so well together. He's now actually one of my colleagues. He works for us now. Now, keep in mind, he's in London most of the time. So okay. He lives in London. I'm out here in Florida. But we've become very close. And so we do this every week, and it's as much for us to have fun with as it is to talk about the topics that are going on, and to introduce people to some of these guests that we have on. So the idea is, and our tagline is, quite frankly, timely topics poorly presented. Keeps the bar low, lets us have some fun. We let what's left of our hair down, and we talk about things that have happened, like in the last week in cybersecurity. Now, Javad is a very smart guy. He used to work for some of the research organizations here. He's a very smart guy, and he's got great insights into things. And so we tear apart some of these stories sometimes. Sometimes we go deeper than others. Sometimes they're just for fun, but we look at it and we go, okay, so what can we talk about with this? And then on the flip side, we try to bring on some guests as well. And so a lot of these, we really have tried to pull away from having like the names in cybersecurity, but finding people that are doing great things that aren't that well known, but hearing their story. A couple of times we've had people on there. One of them was a guest who she won the DEF CON social engineering capture the flag, Aleth Dennis. She came out of the insurance industry. And a gal that we just had on a couple of weeks ago, she came out of theater. And now they work in cybersecurity. And it's amazing to see how these folks come from these other areas and get into that. And so we like to talk about stuff like that. We like to give those people a chance to get out there, get in front of people, and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, that's great. You're getting to hear all different voices, and cyber touches all of our lives these days. Hey, now, how did you come up with the name, The Jarek Show? Help us with that little background there.
Yeah, we're incredibly creative, as you have noticed. And so it's Javad and Eric, The Jarek Show, right? And it's available. We're via podcast on Podbean. It's on Apple. It's on all of those other places that you go for podcasts. And then we also do it on video, where we release it on YouTube. So if you look for The Jarek Show on YouTube, you'll find us. And we do it pretty much every week. I think we're on episode 45 or something like that now. So pretty much every week we do it. We release generally on Friday mornings. And we just like to have fun. It's we try to keep it fairly short. Usually Anywhere from 15 to 45 minutes, honestly. If we have guests, it runs the longer end of that. But we just want to have, somebody have something enjoyable and maybe something they can learn from as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So certainly check out the podcast, the Jarek Show, and enjoy some of those episodes. And maybe, Eric, help us understand a little bit more. Where can people reach out to you and learn more about some of the great stuff that you're doing, some of the stuff you're doing at KnowBe4, and so on and so forth? What's the best way to connect with you?
Certainly. LinkedIn is great. It's like LinkedIn, whatever, Eric Krohn. Just nobody spells their name like I spell my name, so it's pretty easy to catch me.
Unique,
there. Yeah. And same with Twitter. My Twitter handle is @Eric Krohn. I go by Mad Squirrel. It's my super cool hacker name. Comes from my time in the military, where we had the secret squirrel thing going on, and it just kind of rolled into that. So, but yeah, I'm always happy to chat with people. Through either of those mediums, you can reach me.
Awesome. Great. Well, thanks again for all your insight and spending a little bit of time with us, and really appreciate all that you do in the world of cyber there.
Thanks for having me, Scott. It was great seeing you again, and I hope to see you again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks, Eric. Take care.